Hey guys, it's Sarah and I'm about to get started on another chunk of my Victoria Marie Scrapbook Retreat mini album. So this is not filling up as quickly as I was hoping it was going to. I just didn't have a lot of extra stuff really to put in here, but I'm gonna see if I can bulk it up a little bit. So we're gonna see how I can do. But I do have a lot of stuff done already here. So I'm gonna kind of continue on with this, and I am going to try to do at least 4 spreads, like 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to try to get that done this morning here, but I am, like I said, just going to try to bulk it up a little bit because it's not filling up very quickly, and I have, this is a little bit thicker. So I'm just going to see what I pulled that I can use to really kind of add some volume to it. And then if I can't find anything right this second, then I'll kind of spend some time this week and maybe see if I can find some stuff in my stash that I can kind of use to bulk it up. But as of right now, I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to start with this the back of the 6x8 full page spread. I'm going to use this picture here, which is a little snapshot of a little Scrabble board that they had at the restaurant, and then Barbara had spelled out Victoria Marie Retreat. So I'm just going to kind of highlight this here and make a spread out of that. And yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get started. I'm also watching on my iPad. I'm actually watching Killing Kennedy, which is a TV movie from a couple years ago that I've had on my DVR for a very long time. It's based on the book Killing Kennedy, written by Bill O'Reilly. But I watched Killing Lincoln recently, and I really, really enjoyed it, so I wanted to go ahead and watch this one too. And it's kind of a historically accurate type of TV movie, so I'm excited to see what it's all about. And Rob Lowe plays Kennedy. Yes, please. All right, so I'm going to start by going through this pink paisley memorandum paper pad, and I'm going to try to pick a larger piece of paper that I can cut down to a 6x8. I'm also going to use a couple little scraps here from this, what is the name of this one? Creative Agenda? Yes, Creative Agenda 6x6 paper pad, and that's from Echo Park. I'm going to kind of use a couple little scraps from that and layer them up. And then I ended up putting away my paper pad here by accident, so I had to dig it back out. But I was originally going to go with a yellow polka dot, but I thought it was a little bit too busy, so I'm going to choose something else. And I'm actually going to cut out this little clipboard here from this piece of pattern paper, and it says create something beautiful. And then I'm going to use this floral, which doesn't seem like it's any not busy, I guess, if that makes any sense. Like the polka dot seems like it may be less busy, but this one, the pattern is a little bit more subtle as far as the colors go. They're not quite as bold, so I'm going to go ahead and use this one instead. So I'm cutting it down to a 6x8. And it has all the colors that I'm using, the yellows and the pinks and the blues. So I really like the way that it ends up looking. All right, so I'm gonna put my album aside so it's not in the way. And I pulled out this pink stripe paper, and I'm going to use that as a big layering piece. And then I also have this little blue scrap, and I'm gonna go ahead and fishtail both ends so that it makes a banner. And I was going to cut off that circle, like the punched out circle part, but I'm going to cover it up with my picture anyway, so I don't bother doing it. And then I need to cut down the pink a little bit more because I don't want the sides of the paper to show around the banner there, so I'm just cutting it down to make it narrower than the banner. And I'm going to fussy cut out this little clipboard here, and I'm going to use that next to my picture as a more of a layering piece as well. And it's pretty accurate since we were creating the whole weekend. And then I'm going to pull a few things out here and there and kind of layer some stuff up. One thing that I wanted to try to use was some chipboard, so I'm going to end up pulling out a chipboard sticker sheet here from Crate Paper from Maggie Holmes, and I'm going to end up using a frame off of there. And chipboard definitely helps to add some bulk and some layers to your pages because they're thick. So I really like the way that it fits just about perfectly around that image there. And I laid it down to see, just to make sure it would work. And thank goodness it did, because it really stuck to the picture. So it's like, okay, I'm really glad that works. And I'm cutting around it. However, it's really hard to get your scissors right up close to the chipboard. So I'm going to take my craft knife and just kind of get the edges a little bit smoother. And it just fits really perfectly right around that image. And I like the way that that looks. And I'm also going to add this banner here as well. So I like the way it's going, so I'm going to go ahead and start getting some stuff stuck down before I lose it and, and all that. So I'm just going to go ahead and start sticking things down here. And so that image there is of a little magnet board that was at the restaurant that we went to eat at. And they had little Scrabble tiles that you could kind of spell out fun things on the board. And so Barbara had gone through and found all the letters to spell out Victoria Marie Retreat. So she spelled it out on there and we all took pictures of it. Okay, so I went ahead and added that banner up top too. And I'm going to add this little rubber banner that says Simple Moments. And just add that there. That's from Pink Fresh Studio. And then I'm going to add a little arrow with a camera on it from this Allison Craft sticker sheet. And then I'm just kind of going through my bin here of stuff that I had pulled for this album, and I'm just trying to see what I can use. And I pulled that sticker there. I don't remember exactly what it says. Something about, I think it says, "What a Wonderful Day," maybe. So I just put that up there to help fill up that, a little bit of that space there. And I'm going to grab some of these gold puffy hearts, which were not in my kit, but they were sitting on my desk, so I just went ahead and grabbed some. So I'm going to add a few here and there. And I am drinking my coffee. Scrapbooking and coffee. Love it. Okay, so that one's done. And now I'm going to take this bag here. And this bag is something that Victoria had put at each of our place settings when we got there. And they had a little gift inside and a little thank you for, you know, coming to the retreat and all that stuff. And there was just some information in there. And she made little goodie bags for us. So it was really, really sweet. And then she has her branding sticker on it. And so I wanted to put that in here somehow. So I thought about just cutting out the branding sticker and like using it somewhere, but I thought it'd be cool to actually have this bag just really stuck into the album, and that would definitely help add a little bit of bulk with those ribbons up there. So I'm going to just go ahead and do that. So I'm marking off where I need to cut. I am going to cut off the handles because I don't need the handles in there, but I'm going to kind of cut around everything and just kind of make it the size that I need it to be. I'm going to use my tonic scissors here to make sure everything cuts through because my trimmer was not cutting through those handles. So now I'm going to take off those ribbons and I'm going to reattach them up into the corner of that. But first I need to make holes in the bag so that I can slip it right into my album. And I'm going to use some washi tape that Victoria had given us. So that little plastic bag there was inside this bag that I'm cutting up. And so I'm going to use the washi tape that's in there that she gave to me, and I'm going to do it along both sides of here so that way the bag won't tear as it's getting as the album's getting flipped through. So just more of a reinforcement type thing. So I'm going to cut the ends here and then repunch the holes. And then I can just slip it right into my album. So I wanted to include these ribbons that were on there because they're really pretty. So I'm just going to put it in the corner here and then use my tiny attacher just to staple it down. And then I cut a little bit off so that it doesn't cover up that really pretty sticker there. I'm just putting down my staples a little bit better. They were poking up a little bit. And I really like that. So I'm going to go ahead and stick that into my album as well. And now I'm going to work on my next spread, and I'm trying to decide what it is I want to document. and I am going to work on some of these quotes here. This is a little piece of paper that I cut down actually at the retreat. I had this in a 6x6 paper pad. I think it's from Amy Tangerine. And I cut it down to a 3x4. And as people were saying just like really funny quotes, I would write them down in one of the speech bubbles. So I have all these really funny things that people were saying throughout the weekend. Just stuff I really wanted to remember because they were hilarious. So I'm going to go ahead and use this page protector here that has 2 3x4s on top and 1 4x6 on the bottom. And on the bottom, I'm just going to do a little journaling spot. And so up at the top, I'm going to have the quote picture there, and then I think I'm going to do another journaling card talking about the quotes and why I did them. So I'm going to use that pink push pin paper on the bottom. I'm going to cut it down to 4x6, and then I'm using just a little sliver of navy blue all along the bottom here just to kind of help break it up a little bit, and then give a little grounding place for this little radio die cut that I do not know where that came from, but I had kept it on my desk and thought this would be a good place to use it, because I'm also going to talk about how we were listening to music and we were watching a Hamilton special while we were scrapping over the weekend too. So it was fun. So now I'm going to pull out a Project Life card from this Heidi Swap Project Life kit, and I'm going to use that to talk about the quotes and kind of do some journaling. So I'm going to use this blue one that says noted on it, and I'm going to use these stickers from Studio Calico, and I'm going to use the blue color, and so I'm going to put it right underneath it, and it's going to say noted, quoted. So I'm going to use those up here. I didn't have another O, so I'm going to use a Q. So I used up both of my Qs. That never happens, right? I never use Qs ever. Usually I'll cut them down to make them O's if I need them, but I didn't have an E either, so I used an F and just a little dash to make an E as well. So I'm going to add a couple little hearts here as well while I have them out. And then I'm going to use a pink tag, and that's where I'm going to do some journaling down here. And I'm using this twine that was used to on the bag that Victoria gave us. So I'm just going to do that and cut it down. And then I'm going to do some journaling on here. And the journaling is just, going to be about how we spent our time. So I have the sticker that says itinerary and then AM, PM, and a lot of my journaling is going to be about how we stayed up till all hours of the night, every night, just scrapbooking. Even one night I stayed up till 4 a.m. and that is so rare for me. And I was hurting the next day, but it was still fun. And then up at the top here, I'm doing journaling about the quotes and how, we had some really funny ones and all that, and I just kept track of it. And then that is going to complete that part, and I'm going to jump up on here and talk to you about what I'm going to do next, because I'm going to do something with this little wood veneer cut. So I'm going to come back here in just a second and tell you exactly what I plan on doing with it. Okay guys, so what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go ahead and finish up, but I think I'm going to add this wood veneer piece from Studio Calico in here and just insert it into the album directly. And I have these clocks here by Making Memories, so I think I'm going to try to maybe back some of these with pattern paper and put some clock faces in here, because I just finished this spread about how we stayed up until all hours of the night scrapbooking and talking and laughing. So I think I want to put the clocks here just to kind of symbolize that as well, and that's going to help add some bulk to my album as well. So I have this bag here that I'm going to just kind of throw in. I'm not going to do any journaling on it. It's just going to be a little accent piece. And then I have this piece here, this picture from the board in the restaurant, so I just kind of embellished that a little bit. And then the quotes from some stuff that people said over the weekend that I kept track of because they were so funny. And then I'm talking about staying up late into the night. And I think that's going to be it for today. So I'm going to go ahead and finish up by doing these clocks, and then I will be done. All right, so I originally thought maybe I was going to do some pattern paper behind some of these circles as well, but I ended up really liking the fact that you can see right through it to the next layout that's underneath it. So I'm not going to use any pattern paper. I'm just going to use these clocks, and these clocks are from Making Memories, and I've had them for a very, very, very long time. A very long time. So I'm happy to be using some of them up. And I'm trying to grab some that have the colors I'm working with, like the yellow and blue and pink. So those are the ones that are jumping out at me. I am going to use a little bit of green as well. But some of these are transparent, so you can see right through them, and then some of them are full chipboard. And the problem I was having was that the two that are on the left-hand side there, the top and the bottom, I needed something there, but I also needed holes to be able to actually put in the album, and that's kind of where the rings in the album lie. So those two larger holes are going to be where it goes into the album. So my initial thought here is I'm going to cut down a couple of them just so that it has a little bit of space to actually slip it into the album. And that's what I'm going to do, but I'm actually going to end up changing these out for bigger ones because when I started actually gluing things down, it just was not going to work. So it was not going to be able to stay. But there are a couple here that are chipboard that are going right on top, and so I'm going to go ahead and stick those down, and they fit just over the circles. So that was nice. I could just add them right on top there. And then for the transparent ones, I'm actually going to put some quick dry adhesive right there, and I'm just going to lay them down on top of it. And I had to cut a couple of them down just to make sure they were going to fit. But for the most part, they barely go right over the circle openings there. So I'm just putting it along the back and sticking them in. And here's where I decide I need to go bigger on those two because I just can't, I just don't think that it's going to actually be able to fit. So I'm going to go for these larger two green ones here. And I'm going to cut them down and then just cut a little bit more on the sides here so that it's, I can leave holes, I can leave a space to actually slip it into the album. So I'm going to go ahead and put those down. And then I do have to let this sit overnight and dry. I'm just going to put it on my desk and let it dry for a while. But I am going to come back here in just a second again and talk to you live about kind of being done with that part. All right, guys, so I am done with this. So what I did was I made sure I cut little slits here so that I can slip this into my album. This is where the rings are going to be, but I didn't fill every hole in. I wanted to keep some of it kind of open. I like that you can see behind some of the clocks and all that. So I'm good with how this looks. I just have to let it dry now. So I'm going to let it sit out on my desk for a little bit and let it dry. And then I am done. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know if you have any questions, and I will see you guys again soon. Have a great day. Bye.